a one and a two and a chick-a-boom a chick.
Just wanted to open this one up by saying thank you. Whether this is your first podcast of mine that you're listening to on Remodelers on the Rise, or if you have been a loyal subscriber, thank you for listening. Thank you for giving me some of your valuable time and attention. And I hope that as you listen to this recording and any of the others that I have out there, that they're making an impact, that you are hearing things in a fresh or a new way, being reminded of good fundamental truths on how to improve your remodeling business, and that you're taking action and implementing the ideas that you're hearing. What you're about to hear is a little excerpt of the audio of actually one of my Remodelers Circle mastermind groups. I get together non-compete remodelers from around the country to have a mastermind group. They get to know each other well. We do a Zoom video conference each month, and it's just a really helpful way to for remodelers to realize they're not out there on their own. You're going through that same thing. How do you do this? What are some of the ideas you have for that? And just some good conversation and accountability that happens through them. And what you're going to hear is how I opened up one of my recent calls with one of the groups on 10 ways to deliver a remarkable client experience. I hope you enjoy this recording, and we're digging into some really solid fundamentals here. There's going to be something that you're going to take away and hopefully either be reminded of and remind your team about to encourage them, or something that you're just going to hear that you say, doggone it, we need to get better at that. And hopefully, as a result of investing this time listening to it, you do go out there and make your remodeling business better. Enjoy.
Okay, so I'm going to start by saying the 10 ways to deliver a remarkable client experience. Do you guys want me to go from 1 to 10 or 10 to 1? It doesn't matter, Nancy.
Yeah.
The answer is it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. Whatever you want.
You seemed, when you said, I'm like, she's overthinking it. Stop it.
I was trying to think which way would be better.
Laurel also, when she announced, I had them go around the room just to announce themselves yesterday, and she's like, my name's Laura, and I'm going to heckle Kyle. And she should not have said that because I heckled her hard the whole time. You don't heckle. You don't heckle me.
Hard.
It was pretty rough. Nicole, why is giving a remarkable client experience important?
Well, they will hopefully give good references, and it won't cost more money in the end.
As far as doesn't cost us more money?
Well, yeah, because if you give a bad experience, then you might have to pay out more than the job actually paid you.
Yeah. That first part of just flat out, if you deliver a remarkable experience, they're going to remark about you. Like what you're saying there, of like, you're going to generate more referrals. You're going to generate more repeat work. You are strengthening your business. Every time we do an incredible job, that is strengthening our business. There's a reason that when we've been in business for a long time and do good work, that marketing and generating business actually becomes a little easier. It's because you've built and strengthened and continue to strengthen your reputation. And all of the ideas that I have here that I'm just going to open with and we'll spend 10 minutes or so on this. They're all simple, pretty straightforward items, but it's the execution that's hard. It just takes effort. It takes attention to detail. It takes time to execute these. But the phrase I've used in the past is advertising is the price you pay for not being remarkable. That doesn't mean that we don't advertise. Like, advertising is still probably going to be part of our mix. But what that's kind of getting at is the more remarkable you are, the less you should have to advertise, unless you're wanting to grow really quick. But advertise the price you pay for not being remarkable, because the more remarkable you are, the more people are going to talk about you, refer you, the more repeat work that's going to be coming back. I'm getting a little feedback on the line. Let me just test to see where that might be at. All right, cool. So what I have here is just 10 ways to deliver a more remarkable client experience. Number 1 is communication. And this phrase I use of client communication reduces stress. I think it reduces their stress, but it also reduces our stress. If we have a client that we need to contact, but we don't have good news for them, or they are expecting an answer from us on something and we don't have that answer yet, what are we kind of likely to do when that situation happens? What's kind of our natural tendency?
Hide, ignore them.
Yes. It's like, I'm just going to avoid this.
And
And
Standard industry, they say that you're supposed to call a person back within an hour. Or if it's like in the evening and they leave a message, it's typically no later than 9 a.m. the next morning.
that would be remarkable, right? That's going, that's going, I mean, that's going the extra mile, whether it's Michael Stone or whether it's us. Like if you can answer the phone, that's even impressive these days. But yeah, if we call them back in a timely manner, that helps. The client communication reduces stress, that just that reminder that even when you don't have good news, just communicating and saying, hey, you're on my mind. I just wanted to let you know that I have not gotten a date for when that's going to arrive yet, or I haven't gotten this back from this. That's a hard thing to do, but that's part of being remarkable, is having those conversations. So doing those types of things. And then the other thing I would add into this is just practically, I don't know if I shared this with you guys last time, but just regular check-in meetings. And one of my clients shared this the other day of, on Friday afternoons, they call, so they're in communication with the projects they have going on throughout the week, but on Friday afternoons specifically, they call all of the active jobs that are going on and just ask a little bit more specific questions of how are things going in your eyes, right now? Is there any concerns that you have? How has our job site cleanliness been lately? How have our trade partners, our employees been this week? Like real specifically, how are we doing? And getting that feedback, and they call it, they're very creative with the name of it. They call it their Friday afternoon calls. Very creative. They make them on Friday afternoons in case you missed that part.
Got it.
Okay, good. All right. So communication, deliver remarkable client experience. Communication is such a critical one. Number 2, change orders. If we don't deal with change orders when they happen, that is a good way to
Never get paid.
To not get paid, and to not allow the experience. What are you yelling about, Nancy?
I said, thanks for bringing that up.
Yes. Oh, that was rubbing salt in the wounds.
It sure was.
Did they give you your first $1,000 check yet?
I've gotten 2,000 so far.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah.
I wonder if they might be like, I just want to get rid of this. They might just speed it up even quicker.
Well, our guys are working at the house next door to theirs, and Michael came over to talk to them, and Cody said, you could feel some tension or awkwardness there.
Tension in the air. Yes.
Yeah.
So change orders, deal with them when they happen. Don't save them for the end of the project. We want to be ending the project on a high note. And if we just kind of kick that down the road and, we'll get to it, that's a really crappy way to end the project. Make sure that change orders ideally are getting quoted and signed off on and even paid when they happen. That's like a really good best practice. At the very least, make sure that when the invoice, the next progress payment happens, you're at least capturing any change orders at that point and getting paid for them. But man, if we wait until the end of the project, what's going to end up happening is it gets fuzzy, it gets blurry. We get emotional about it where it's like, they're not super happy. I'm just going to eat that change order. Now it's impacted our profit on the job. So again, remarkable client experience, change orders. First one was communication. Number 3 is schedule. Schedule on the macro view of this, of letting them know the full schedule of the scope of the project. I posted this little thing the other day on Facebook, and a guy had commented and it said, when we do a full bathroom or kitchen gut, we show our client a standard timeline sheet. It shows exactly what we should be doing week 1, week 2, week 3, 4, 5, etc. When you tell a client 5 to 7 weeks on a big kitchen, they don't understand. When you show them the order of operations, they get it.
Yep.
I thought that was pretty sharp, right? Because when we say, it's going to take 7 or 8 weeks, like that's just cloudy. And really, is it going to take that long? But when you break it down for them, it really helps them understand and make sense. But another thing just related to schedule, we need to keep the projects moving. We need to limit the idle days, and we need to update the schedule regularly. They need to understand what's going on day in and day out. When Sarah and I had our basement finished last year, it was eye-opening to me how not knowing exactly when they're going to show up, or not knowing if they're going to show up at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock really impacted our days, and in particular her days. Can I jump in the shower real quick and take care of that before I go on with my day? Do I need to wait for them to arrive? Or just like the start of her day or when she was coming and going, what she was doing with the dog, all of that just impacted it. So making sure we're communicating that schedule day in and day out.
Did you have a schedule for that basement?
Huh?
Did you have a schedule for that basement?
Yeah, rough
Oh.
schedule. They did do a great job at that.
Okay, just curious.
Yeah. Yep. So just like a reminder on that, if we need to, that is such a helpful part of delivering a great experience, is communicating that schedule in a solid and well done way. Number 4 is make money. What does that mean?
There's a concept.
But why would I say to deliver a remarkable client experience, you need to make sure you're making money?
Because you're better.
Without money, you're not going to be in business.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And you're not, when you have money, you're not feeling like you're always chasing the next job to get rid of one job to move on to the next one.
Yep. And the other thing is, like, if you're not making money, you're scrambling. You're also probably cutting corners a little bit on the staff you can afford, the tools, your equipment to serve them properly. Right? When you're making money, you're able to deliver better client experience, whether that is through better staff or tools, equipment, et cetera. So I think that's kind of an interesting one of, deliver a remarkable client experience. Make money is usually not one that would kind of make sense, but when you think about it, it definitely does. That's a huge factor. Number 5, job site cleanliness. Remodeling's messy, and if you can do a good job, especially if they're living in the home while you're doing the work, keeping the job site clean and tidy, doing all the dust protections, making sure your tools are, neat and stacked, just sweeping at the end of the day, that impacts the client experience in a big way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nicole, would you agree with that?
I sure do.
Absolutely, right? So number 1, communication. Number 2, change orders. Number 3, schedule. Number 4, make money. Number 5, job site cleanliness. I'm not giving you guys a lot of time to interact on this because I'm just going to get through it. Then we're going to get into other stuff. But number 6 is little things. And this is one of those that we kind of all know. And I've said it before, that running a successful remodeling business is not about finding that one silver bullet. And if we can just do that, then everything falls into place. It is a combination of a lot of little things. So when we think of client experience, have we trained, and do we kind of think about it when it's trash day and it's the afternoon and the trash has already been picked up and we see it at the end of the driveway? Does our team actually go grab it and just bring it up? We see a newspaper in the middle of the driveway. Do we pick it up and bring it up onto the porch? Can you hear a smile through the phone? Kathy, since we can't see you and you can't see me because you're on the phone. Tell me which of these are when I'm smiling. Kathy, can you hear a smile through the phone? Kathy, Can you hear a smile through the phone?
Yes.
You can hear it.
I see. I hear it.
Absolutely. So being pleasant, being enjoyable to actually interact with, little things. And I think sometimes we might get kind of fired up, or this may even fire you up to say, you know what, we need to revisit that. We need to talk to the team about that. We need to make sure we're doing these little things. And we'd maybe train them one time and kind of get them fired up, and maybe we see a small improvement. But this should just be part of our, whenever we have, whatever our meeting rhythm is, our once a month team meeting or every week team meeting, we should be talking about, having a little agenda item that says, how are we doing with the little things? Does anybody have an example of a little way that we kind of went the extra mile for a client this week? That'd be a great question to talk about with the team. What are some ways that we can wow our clients a little bit more and give a better experience? Just stepping back from the day in and day out, hustle of work and thinking about that.
So here's my situation that I've kind of created. So our clients, well, I think it's a problem from start where my husband maybe doesn't educate the clients on how long architectural and engineering is going to take. And so a big problem that happens is I get clients that are emailing, what's going on? Why aren't you communicating? Why is it taking so long? So my husband started telling people that, it could take, 4 to 6 weeks. Well, they only hear 4, or they only hear the limited amount that he tells them. And I had to have a conversation with my husband saying, we have to step that up because the engineer and the architecture is taking much longer than normal. So let's step it up. And he doesn't want to scare clients. So anyways, long story short there, this week I emailed 3 clients letting them know an update, whether I had an update or not, that your plans should be ready by XYZ, or just to let you know, we don't have a specific date, but we are working on them. We are still thinking about your project.
Did you get a response from each of them?
I got responses from all of them.
Yeah. Anybody feisty? Anybody feisty?
Nope. They were all.
But you know what happens when you don't do that? They sit back and go, when are they getting back to me?
Right.
Man, why is that so bad? Versus you didn't even have, for one of them, like you just described and what we talked about at number 1, you didn't even have good news for them. I don't even know when we're going to get this done. But the fact that you even just said, it's on our radar, we're working on it. I don't have a date yet, but I'll be in touch.
So I have another client that I'm working with, and we have a contract date, but our cabinets aren't going to come in until after that original contract date. So I've already sent her an email this morning. And the funny thing is she sent me one right as I was sending her one. And she's asking for that update. And she's like, I understand if you don't know. But I'm like, you know what? I literally just got this back. And this is the date. I know it's past your contract date. But I'll update you once I have a better understanding.
Good. So Kathy, is there somebody that is hanging out there that you guys are in the process with that you probably need to update? Anybody that comes to mind?
Well, for estimates, that's one of our problems. Alex will take, probably more than what he tell the client.
I got one of those too.
2 or 3 days. It can take up to a week or so, and the client will email me asking for the estimate, and I will respond, and I will get back to Alex, and he'll do it right away. But I do respond to everyone that I can, and I never leave anyone, because I know, I see me doing that. If I wasn't in that situation, I would be the same.
Nicole, how are we doing when we're doing some install on projects of communicating really clearly with the schedule on things? Is that a strength? Is that a weakness? Or even through the design phase, like how are we doing with keeping that moving and them aware of it?
I think our process is pretty good. I mean, we don't have the architectural that we have to really deal with. So, when somebody comes in and if they're doing a full kitchen remodel, we can basically tell them that it takes, up to 6 weeks, for the cabinets, and then just kind of go over everything, how long it would take to possibly install those. And then when we can get them scheduled for the template for the countertop. And, after the installation of that, it typically takes like 3 weeks after template.
Are you presenting to the clients when the job is getting near starting, like here's our start date and here's our estimated finish date and here's kind of the steps in between?
Yeah, we don't do like a contract we don't write all that stuff down and we don't sign it. We don't make the customer sign it. But we do give an expectation of when we plan to start and when we plan to finish. And it's sometimes, we fall into problems, but lately we have not, because our contractor is really good at staying on schedule. We're not in our busy season yet, knock on wood, as far as having things delayed. Last year we ran into a lot of problems with our cabinets being delayed because of weather issues or flooding, or and then they couldn't, be made in the factory or transported, and then our countertop company was, months behind, or but right now things are moving pretty easy. But again, we have not been hit with our busy season yet.
Okay.
So
cool.
as long as you can lay it all out in front and not, just say to somebody, oh, we can be done in 3 weeks, when realization, is that it's going to take 6 to 8, then they understand that, and in the area that we're in, a lot of people, if they start now, they want to be done by Memorial Day. End of story.
Right, because it's a resort area. They want it to be quiet around the cottage all summer, or frankly, they need it to be, because you can't be, I guess on the interior work. Yeah.
So if we can't promise that and we can't follow through, then they don't want to start until after Labor Day. So, we have to break all that timeline down and say, okay, well, you have to order your cabinets by this date in order to get you into that,
Yep.
that schedule and keep it going.
I was just talking to one of my clients earlier. We were just talking. He's like, I've got a little bit of a gap here. I've got a bunch of people, and off of that schedule thing. It's not directly related to this, but just putting in there and giving you guys the phrase for it. He's like, we're just finishing up like 4 big jobs. I've got several in design, but I've just got like this gap where April 1st, I'm pretty lean. And he's like, I don't want to sound desperate, but I also need to get one of these across the finish line. And one thing we were brainstorming about and talking about is to go, how do you, because you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, of like not wanting to sound desperate, but at the same time putting a little fire under their butt. And we were talking about it and saying, we're just telling them what's going on. We're just finishing up 4 major projects, and we've got several that we're working on in design and development. We've got a couple that are already kind of lined up for later on in the months ahead. But we have an opening in our schedule for a project to start on April 10th, and I've got several out there, and I'm looking to get one of them signed and across the finish line so that we can get started with that. So I just want to let you know the time frame. That doesn't sound desperate, but it also is being a little proactive where somebody might go, man, we do want to get this thing done. We do need to get this started. We do want to get it done before Memorial Day. This is kind of an opportunity. What do we need to do to get this across the finish line? So I just wanted to piggyback off of what you were saying there. Let's cruise through the last couple here. Number 7 of Carrie, what are we going through here? What's this top 10 thing? Huh?
Carrie's not here.
Oh, she is. That's why I'm calling her.
Oh, I didn't. Okay.
I don't remember a top 10 thing. Refresh my mind what you're talking about.
I know. I was just giving you a hard time because you showed up late.
Oh.
I had a person here.
I know. No problem. It was 10 ways to deliver a remarkable client experience.
Will we be getting a copy of this delivery?
Yes, I will copy and paste this. Now, some of my notes are kind of my rough notes from when I was doing it, but yeah, I'll send it over. So number 7 is your team, and piggyback off of like train them, make sure we're training our team, whether it's little things, etc. But the big thought here is hire good people and get rid of not good people. Hire good people and get rid of not good people.
Got another dig?
Huh? A little dig at that. I was also going to say, Laura Deller, if you're listening to this, it's also something she's working on right now. And but it's just if you want to deliver a remarkable client experience, your team is one of the bigger. If you look at this list, one of the bigger factors in that is your team. And I've just seen it even more times here recently, and I've already seen it over the years many a time. Like I think we undervalue, or just what's the word I'm looking for? When we have a bad team member, we don't put enough weight behind how much that is infecting the other people on your team and yourself. Like we kind of underplay that. We downplay that, I should say. It's like, maybe they are. But, it's hard to find good people. But, man, when you get rid of a bad person, it makes the whole situation, your stress level, your team enjoys life better. And just kind of a reminder is always be recruiting when it comes to your team. Even if you don't have an opening, is it still wise to sit down in front of a good, capable lead carpenter? And even if the worst case scenario is, we don't have an opening right now, but I am really interested and that might change here soon. That would be worst case scenario. Best case scenario is you meet some good people who are a big upgrade over other people, and now you have actual leverage and more confidence and more peace of mind in making the change. It's hard to fire somebody when you're busy and you don't have anybody kind of that you can call on to bring on board. So number 7, your team. Make sure we're hiring good people and get rid of not good people. Number 8 are Sarah's thoughts. You guys know who Sarah is?
Your wife?
It's my wife. Yes, it is. And we were the start of this story sounds bad. Like it's not going anywhere. We were in bed the other night.
Nice.
And like I'm like out. I'm like
music.
Huh? Yeah. And I'm like just about to sleep, and I remembered I usually wake her up in the morning. I'm up way before her, but when I'm out before she has to get up, I need to set her alarm. I'm like, I got to set your alarm. And she's like, oh, I forgot about that. I got to get up early. And she's like, don't go. Why do you have to go? I'm like, no, I got to go. And she's like, what are you talking about at this speaking gig? And I said, 10 ways to deliver a remarkable client experience. And she's like, oh, I have some thoughts on that. And she had some really good thoughts on that, but it was super obnoxious because I was like really tired and I got out of bed and like sent myself an email because they were good thoughts. And she's like we got some sirens out there. She was talking in particular about the appliance company, the appliance repair company. We've had them out to our house 2 times in the last 3 or 4 months. And she's like, they were remarkable. They were kind. They were respectful. And she's like, I don't really know how to articulate this, but it's like they'd been trained in how to make the lady of the house, the woman, feel comfortable when she's there by herself and she doesn't know what to expect and whatever. And like, I was super comfortable. Like he asked permission before he went over here. He was just super kind and respectful. And she's not even talking about anything related to the quality of the work. She's not even talking about what it cost. Turns out the quality was just fine. It was good. They were probably one of the more expensive repair companies that we could have called, but it didn't matter because they just were, their attention to detail, their communication from that first call, confirming the call, what time they were coming, and just everything about it was great.
And you got what you paid for.
And we got what we paid. Yeah, we absolutely did. And it was an example and a reminder where 2 times in the last few months, somebody posted on Facebook, hey, does anybody know a local appliance repairman? And here's the difference between kind of sort of giving your clients an okay experience and giving them a remarkable and a great experience. She wrote AAA Appliance Network on Facebook, but she said, we love them. They did an awesome job. They were just super respectful. I highly recommend them. That sounds a lot different than we use AAA Service Network. Yeah, you could try them. It's different, right? And when we give our clients a remarkable experience, they rave about us. And it's hard to do that, and it takes a lot of work to do that. But I think that's just a reminder that, it's these little things, and are they really going to rave about us, or are they just going to kind of say, it was all right? Number 9 is what worked, what didn't work. And we've talked about this a little bit before, kind of more on the sales process side. But if you take a little bit of time when the job is done and do this internally and do this externally. Nancy, you have yawned like 5 times. It is 2:30 in the afternoon.
That's my time. That's my
He's like, there's a bed right there. It's just like a 20-minute nap. Just 20 minutes is all I need.
I slept in this morning too.
I read an article about how naps are actually very healthy for you. Little 20, 30 minute.
Yeah, no, I can't do that.
You get grumpier from a nap.
Yeah, I get grumpier.
I
just want to stay
I'm just like, if I'm kind of wear down, if I get a 20-minute nap, I'm like, it just recharges the batteries. And I'm charged up today because I am talking to Queen Bees. I got to bring it.
Yeah.
So
right.
number 9 is what worked, what didn't work. If you actually, it could be via phone, it could be investing the time to actually meet with them in person. If you actually go up to your client after everything's done and just say, I wanted to know what worked and what didn't work. What did you really enjoy about going through this process with us? What did you not enjoy about going through this process with us? You're asking this question after the payment's already taken. How valuable of information and real information are you going to get when that's all you got to say. I want to know what worked and what didn't work. You're going to learn so much if you take the time to just do that with some of your clients. And then also doing that internally. Guys, as we think as a team, what worked and what didn't work? Well, we did kind of botch the schedule. We weren't communicating it to them, Or, we did wait and hold those change orders until the end. And instead of ending on a high note and finishing strong, which is also a huge part of delivering a great experience, is finishing strong. Man, it was like a nosedive at the end. They were ticked. They got up from the table. They cut the check, but they were upset because they didn't think this happened. It was more expensive than they thought. You go through what worked, what didn't work. It can make a huge impact on the client satisfaction. So those are the 9. And then for number 10, I just said one from you. So does anybody, for number 10, when you think of delivering remarkable client experience, what comes to your mind for a 10th one that we could add? I mean, it was a pretty complete list.
Yeah, it really was. It's very complete.
I'm sending you this list right now, too. Nothing?
No, I got nothing. It was complete. It is complete.
It was pretty complete.
Yeah.
Here's one that somebody wrote on the Facebook page that we'll do with 10, since I only came up with 9 of them. I had one of them for you guys. All of you failed miserably and couldn't think of one. There's 6 of you. So I will finish with this one that somebody posted on the Facebook group that I thought was good and maybe a little more applicable for you guys.
Oh, I had one. I was talking, but I think I was muted.
Oh, well, no.
I'm talking to myself.
You lost the opportunity. I'm doing it myself. You lost the opportunity, people. Can't get the technology to work proper. No, go ahead.
After a meeting with a client, if we propose, or even after the first meeting and we know it's a really good job, I'll send a thank you, thanking them for their time. If you have any questions before our next meeting, or presenting the scope or whatever, we do that. And it's handwritten business card.
That's a good one. We do that too.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. The other thing the other one that was added was, as somebody posted, help with the design process in terms of guiding them on styles, colors, materials, finishes, as you see it working best for their taste and lifestyle. Most homeowners don't know what they want, what they'll love long term, and the features that might drive them crazy. Probably in a good way or a bad way. And I thought that was interesting. You want to deliver a great client experience, man. If you help them through that, and they're just I had never thought about doing this in the kitchen. Like Nicole, you come up with that, that step up. You see your client, and your client's as tall as Nancy Benson, and you're like, you know what? I don't think she's going to be able to get to that top cabinet up there. But I was out at the K-Biz and I saw this little ladder, this little step stool thing, and they open up the bottom drawer and this little step stool comes out and I can step up there. And you know what she says every time she goes into that kitchen and shows it to somebody? Oh, look at this. Look at this. Or, Carrie, you're designing the kitchen and you're talking them through things, and like they've got a KitchenAid and it's super heavy, and this lady's 68 years old and she's probably going to be 69 next year and just going to get older, and you were just doing it, right? What is it?
It's amazing. That's when we put up that YouTube video and they just go fling, and it just nice and sweet.
Comes up and comes down, right? Yeah. And they're gonna rave about that. So I think that is part of the client experience. When you're able to get creative or use your skills, your knowledge, your experience to be asking questions and listen to them, and then find some things that are really neat or cool for them, that can go a long ways in them kind of raving about it. We ended up paying a little bit more, but man, they did some cool things that we just absolutely love in here. I can't imagine not having this, fill in the blank. Can't imagine not having this pot, this pot filler, faucet over here. Is that still big? I feel like that was going through a big phase for a while there. Is that still?
Yeah, we just did one in a kitchen.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still big though.
Cool. So there you go. I wanted to hit you guys with that. So if you enjoyed listening to this recording, I have a hunch that you would really enjoy being a participant in Remodelers Community. It is a private Facebook group, free of charge. I have a lot of my remodeling clients in there. I have a lot of people who have just followed my work for a number of years. And the conversation is on a variety of topics on how to improve your remodeling business. A lot of just great people willing to share a lot of ideas, templates, tools. Did I mention it's free of charge? Go to remodelerscommunity.com and it'll redirect you right to where you can request to join the private Facebook group. remodelerscommunity.com. I'll see you on there.